Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, welcome to this trial. This is Texas v. Dykes. It's a strange case, an even stranger trial. This is the trial where the people charged with the ending of Marisela Botello, a 23-year-old gorgeous woman who just went on vacation to Dallas, Texas, and ended up thrown away in a ditch, found 6 months later. The charged people are the married lesbian couple, Lisa Dykes and Nina Mendes, and their toy boy, Charles Chucky something something. And yeah, and so they were charged. They bailed out or bonded out. Then the lesbian couple fled to Cambodia. They were extradited back from Cambodia. And now, then Chucky decided to snitch on Miss Dykes, and we are now at his testimony. Now, previously in the trial, the bone guy found no trauma on Miss Botello's remains. The coroner found no trauma on Miss Botello's remains. She did conclude that it was death due to homicidal violence. And not sure how she got there, but apparently she listened to the investigation, and that is how she concluded homicidal violence, even though there were no trauma on the remains. Because Chucky is saying that he picked up Miss Botello. They went to the house, into his room. They had sex. He fell asleep during sex. He woke up with Botello on top of him, and he testified to that he saw Miss Dykes with a knife going all stabby. That's his testimony so far. And the blood evidence in that house was, they found 5 smudges. 3 of them had Miss Botello's DNA, blood and DNA on it. The largest pool of blood was roughly a foot in length and half a foot in width. That's all. That's all the blood evidence. There is 0 blood spatter on the crime scene. 0. It's been testified to. But Mr. Chucky, the failed rapper turned toy boy, still testifies it was multiple stabbing by Miss Dykes. I completely agree, because everything so far, which is solid evidence in this trial, points to Chuck. My theory is he met Miss Botello. He took her back to his place for weed, because that's what he also testified to, and his friend testified to, that she was looking for weed. So my theory is that he invited her there. They got a few more drinks, smoked a bit of weed, and he may or may not have. What happens then, we don't know. My theory is that she turned him down, and he couldn't take it. Mr. Chucky, Mr. Charles Beltran is his name, has multiple felony convictions, among them violence against his baby mama. So why they are charging Miss Dykes is beyond me, when he has the criminal history of violence towards women. He's the only Miss Dykes and Miss Martinez does not have a criminal past. Miss Martinez Munoz something. She's a lawyer. Miss Dykes is a paralegal. None of them have a criminal past. He has, but he is snitching on Miss Dykes, and that's why they are prosecuting Miss Dykes, in my opinion. And this trial concluded about 2.5 weeks ago, but everything about it is so strange, I decided to cover it anyway. So, now when you're somewhat up to speed, let's continue to listen to this asswipe. Yeah, I'm not holding back on this one at all. And hold on, let me get there. Me and Mr. Jingles. Mr. Jingles is my cat, my farm cat. Here he is in Viking helmet and a suit because he's the leader of us all, and sometimes he tries to end my life because he can, because he's a cat. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you think you're subscribed, check again, because sometimes people get unsubscribed. Okay, now let's listen to the rest of Charles Chucky, failed rapper turned toy boy, womanizer, woman beater. Yeah, let's continue to listen to him. Okay. That's Charles Beltran. Yep. He is the one who's convincing that he didn't do it. It was Miss Dykes who did it. I covered the first part of his testimony just before Christmas, and it's bad. I can't for my life see anybody believing what a word he's saying. Let's skip ahead until they continue. Come on. Oh, Judge is gone. Judge is back. And jury's coming in. All right. The sound in this trial is a bit horrible. I will do my best to enhance a bit of it. And it's bad in that some of them you hear perfectly, but the prosecution can't find a microphone if her life depended on her.
Thank you. Chuck, we left off and you said that you were hooking up with Madeline to kind of make up for the night before. And I asked you, did you understand just how that looks?
Yes, ma'am.
How does that look?
Hold on. Mr. Wood, you moved the microphone when you were speaking with the witness. If you could put it back to the, for his mouth, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Wood. All right, Ms. Pittman, you may continue.
Thank you. How does that look?
You're messed up. Selfish. I didn't know what to do.
You're trying to just get it out of your mind?
Yes, ma'am.
You seen anything like that ever before?
Never.
So take Madeline, where do you take her?
We rent a room right behind Dax's apartments.
Stay the night with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being here, Gigi. Everybody say bye to Gigi, my first and best moderator.
We just hang out.
Did you hang out with Bedlin? Did you hang out with your friends? Who did you hang out with?
With Melanie?
Did you tell her anything about what had happened?
No, ma'am.
Did you hear, do you remember when you started hearing from Lisa again?
It was like days after.
Did you talk to her at all? And I mean, you didn't talk to her at all in between?
No, once she did that and made the comment to leave, I mean, I didn't even want to talk. I had nothing to talk about with her.
Do you remember if she started trying to call you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she try to call you several times?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you answer?
Eventually I did.
I wouldn't mind,
At
but
some point,
I have an early morning
days
tomorrow,
after, did
so
you
I
talk to
can't do a drinking
Yes,
stream
ma'am.
today.
And when you talked to her, was Nina on the phone as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did y'all say? What was the conversation?
They were just asking me where have I been? Am I okay? Come back home. Everything's okay.
And when they said come back home, what did they tell you about how the home was?
They said it's back to normal. Everything's good. Just come home.
Did they tell you what happened to Marisela?
No, ma'am, but I mean, I figured.
Did you return back to the house?
Eventually I did.
And what did you do when you returned?
I didn't want to be around them, so I went when they weren't there. I packed me some clothes and stuff and left.
What
Went
did
to
your
my
room look like?
spotless. Like nothing ever happened.
When you saw Marisela, you looked over your shoulder and you saw her bleeding from here. You said lifeless. Did you know she was dead?
I mean, I've never seen a person dead before, only on movies, but I mean, it looked to what I've seen. There was nothing I could do.
So when you went back to the house, you said it was spotless.
It's completely clean, like bed made, everything was how I usually leave it.
What'd you do all that week?
The club was this is during the whole, I guess, pandemic stuff was starting to die down, and the club was starting to open back up. So like me and Dax and the people that work at the club were meeting up at the bar to figure out what we're gonna do to open up.
Were you going about your business, trying to act normal?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell anybody what had happened?
No, ma'am.
In fact, what did you tell Dax? You actually saw Dax the day after you saw Marisela murdered. What did you tell him about Marisela?
And here's Mo.
And sober, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, we just started listening more to Mr. Failed Rapper Toy Boy
He
thingy.
is so gross. Not even if we were the last two people on Earth and humankind was going to fail in existence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have nothing to say.
And yet,
I
apparently,
can't argue with you. I can't really argue with you.
and apparently, he's just got all the ladies.
Yep. And yeah, let's see. Oh, let's see here if I got Rumble started. No? Why not? Why is Rumble not on? Why does it say offline?
I have.
Oh, now we are online over at Rumble. Yay! So if anybody in the YouTube chat prefers the Rumbles, here it is. Yep. All right. Yeah, he just started talking and being himself, and
Is he still trying to explain how a woman straight out of a severe infection was stabulating another chick?
no. Now he's on to telling about what happened afterwards, about the
Oh,
house being cleaned out and everything. So they just, for a brief 5 minute period, he described the how Dykes did the traceless stabbing of
oh,
Marisela, and now we're on to uh, him describing what happened afterwards.
let's go. That's hilarious.
No, yeah, he should. We don't know actually what weapon she's supposed to use because he didn't say anything about it. Just the stabby stabby. Even though police and coroner and everybody says no trace of trauma on the bones, no blood spatter anywhere in the house, and he described Marisela as completely covered in blood, and still the only smudge is like a foot in length and half a foot in width in a dong shaped area. And yeah, I don't believe him, not for 1 second. And I said to the people a few minutes ago, every solid piece of evidence points to him. And my theory is, because his friend testified that she went up to them and asked for weed. So I'm starting to develop the theory they went to his house because he probably said, let's go to my house. I have weed over there. And sadly, she accepted that. And then they might
Yeah.
have drank something or might have smoked something. And what happens then? Well, he is the one with a past of violence towards women.
Yeah, I mean, it's much less Occam's razor, all things being equal.
Mm.
You could sell me on that much easier than you could sell me on weird lesbian throuple, crazy woman just out of surgery, hobbles her gimpy leg over,
Yeah, yeah,
finds mid ride while he's half asleep, finds, them mid smexy time. I mean, it just, and then he's
yeah,
able to say it with such a flat affect. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know about you, Nicholas, but if I was mid coitus and someone got stabulated, I don't know that I'd be able to say it with a, you know,
No,
flat
no.
affect.
First of all, I've never fallen asleep during coitus.
There's a first time for everything. Uh,
Apparently, he did.
yeah, that's it. I mean, does he really have to be mean to her when she's already passed away? Seriously?
Yeah. They had sex, Brandon. It's just us trying to avoid the
The
YouTube's censor machinery.
I Yeah, look, I just got done pretending to be Donna Adelson, so
Mm.
I'm not sure that YouTube particularly likes me, okay?
He was entertaining. No, he was banned from having sex with Nina Morales, by Miss Dykes, allegedly, and
Wait, how can you be a throuple and not
that's the
have both people?
that's the prosecution saying that, and that's him saying that, and I don't really believe any of them because apparently him and Nina had sex, him and Miss Dykes had sex, and sometimes all three of them, and sometimes he brought a woman home for threesome. I mean,
So he can
yeah,
disappoint 3 women in 30 seconds? Well, no, I mean, I can. Well, okay, never mind. I'm not going to get into my thoughts on this because
Mm,
I don't want to kill your channel, but the opposite makes sense. Having
mm,
more men with one woman makes sense because you have, tag teams, if you will. When one gets, you know,
mm. Tired, the
finished,
other one can, yeah, and
yeah.
uh,
But with a bunch of women and one dude, I mean, kind of
yeah. I mean,
finish up and you're done. I mean, unless like the women are just feeding him Gatorade and Cialis, I don't know.
maybe a lot of blue pills. I don't know, and yeah, it's. I, I mean, I'm having a hard time as it is. Having, I mean, making my woman comfortable and everything, and I enjoy it. Having, I mean, I have to make a real effort to,
Yeah.
yeah, and
I mean,
two women. Well, I mean, why risk disappointing two women? The
yeah,
after sex
seriously.
talk is not going to be entertaining.
No, it's
Are you
going to
done
be like,
already, you bastard? Yeah,
yeah, seriously, like that was well, A for effort, young man.
yeah. And he is the one at age 31 still has to have his sugar mama pay the venue for him performing there. He is
The
not the
Nat-
success story.
well,
Yeah, and the
everyone
two
has a rock
ladies.
bottom.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but
Look,
that's
I just
yeah.
need his picture because I'm telling you, when my mom says, "What are you doing with your life?" I'm going to say, at least I'm not him. I mean, it used to be Charlie Sheen, but now he's sober, so now I have to have him.
Mm,
And thank you very much, atheist aunt.
mm. Yeah, but let's continue with its testimony. Maybe he will change our minds. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, I am willing to be amazed.
Yeah.
I mean, he asked. I mean, just homeboy to homeboy. He asked what we did that night, and I told him, we had sex, and after that, I talked her off, and that was it.
Why didn't you want to tell Dax?
I don't know how you tell somebody you just witnessed somebody murder like that.
Why didn't you call the police then?
I'm scared.
And the days after, I mean, we're talking, several days after, you're just going about your business. Did you ever think about calling the police later down the road?
I've always had it in the back of my mind, but I always thought that it could be pointed to me.
Why'd you think that?
I mean, they're attorneys, they have good jobs, they don't have no record. I mean, I look like a bad guy. I was scared.
Without Lisa, did you have any money, any means to travel or anything like that?
Oh, that was my source of income.
at some point, did you become aware that, your face was being, kind of blasted out there as the last person to be seen doing something?
Yes. Well, first, as I'm going to the club and stuff, trying to open up, Freddie comes around and he showed me the missing photo of Marisela. And he's like, "Hey, this looks like the girl that you're with, you know?" Like, what happened? I don't know. He's like, "Man, it's messed up." You know what I'm saying? I know.
And after you found that out from Freddie, what did you do?
I go to my friend B's house, and I talked to him about it. Man, I said, I kind of wanted to tell him, but I just didn't know how. So I was just like, man, I'm going through some stuff right now, bro. Like, I don't know what to do. You know, like I need to figure something out. And he's like, man, like what's going on? So I'm like, it's hard to say. I need to figure something out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, like, can you hit up our boy in New Orleans? I was like, I just need to duck off somewhere to figure something out, you know? And
So did you go to New Orleans?
yes, ma'am.
Who'd you go to New Orleans with?
Melanie,
And how'd you guys get there?
we drove
Who's car?
the Tucson, Lisa's Tucson.
And so you drove to Tucson. Did you go back to the house to get to Tucson? How did you get to Tucson?
We met up and switched cars.
Who's we?
Me and Lisa. Yeah, Lisa called me, and she told me about because my face was on the news and stuff, and she was like, "Hey, like, bring me the car. I don't want you to get caught up for anything you didn't do. You know, you might get busted in the car. So bring it to me. I'm gonna take care of it." So we switched cars.
So you and Madeline go to New Orleans and to Tucson, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you get to New Orleans, well, let me back up just a little bit. At some point, did you get a phone call from Lisa, maybe about 10 days or so after you saw this happen? Did you get a phone call from her where she told you that the FBI contacted her?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did she tell you?
She just said that they reached out to her looking for me.
And what did she tell you? Did she tell you to do anything?
Yeah, that's why I went to New Orleans. She told me to get out of the city.
So after Lisa contacted you about the FBI, did she claim at all that she thought that was a fraudulent call? Did she say that she didn't think it was really the FBI?
Not that I remember.
But she told you to get out of town
Yes, ma'am.
and told you to bring the Audi so y'all could switch so you didn't get caught up in that car.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the Audi was on blast too, wasn't
Yes, ma'am.
it? So you and Madeline take Tucson to New Orleans, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And where were y'all gonna stay?
Well, Lisa was funding me money to move around. She told me to get an Airbnb out there and just wait right there until she give me word.
And the Airbnb, who booked that? Was it in your name or Madeline's name?
Melanie.
When you get to the Airbnb, what happens?
Stay there, I think like not even 2 nights. And we stayed there one night, and then the next day, she tells me about the Tucson now. I need to get rid of the Tucson.
Who tells you?
Lisa.
And did you get a phone call from Dax during that time period too?
Not that I remember.
So you talk to Lisa. Lisa tells you to get rid of Tucson. So what's the plan?
At this point, I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of Tucson now. So she tells me, me and Melanie talk because Melanie left her car back in Dallas. So Lisa told me just to tell her to take the car to the house, drop the car off, and have Melanie come back and meet you up. So that's what we did.
Had you told Madeline what was going on at that time?
No, she asked, but
What did you tell her?
I was just like, man, I don't know.
When she brought the car back, did she pick you up?
Who?
Madeline, I'm sorry. Did Madeline pick you up back in her car?
Yeah, well, after the Airbnb, like I told you before I left, I talked to my homeboy, Brian, and he ended up hitting up my homeboy that stays in New Orleans. So when we left the Airbnb, that's why I ended up going to. So I was staying there, and when she left to go to Tucson, Melanie came back to that same spot and met up with me there.
And what did you and Madeline do after that?
We stayed there about a week. Lisa said she's gonna give me a call and she's gonna tell me when it's safe to like move around. And so I finally get the call, and she was like, "Hey, meet us in Pennsylvania, but make sure you don't let the girl come. You know where we're at." So I was like, okay.
Okay. So while you were in New Orleans, when you left Texas with Medellin, and probably right after you left, you had a phone with phone number 214-600-0181. Does that sound familiar?
I can't remember. It was
How many phones and phone numbers do you think you had during that time period, if you could even guess?
I mean, I changed a lot. I break them, buy a new one. So I changed a lot.
Before you went to New Orleans, did you get rid of that phone? Get a new one?
Yeah.
So when Lisa is calling you, she's not calling you on the phone that you had here at that time.
No.
Now, Lisa tells you that she's going to give you a call and tell you where to go. Where did she tell you to go?
To Pennsylvania to meet her and Nina.
And did you and Medellin drive up there?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was the ride?
It was cool, I guess.
It was okay?
Yeah.
Was it quiet?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did he take so long to answer that?
Paranoid?
Everywhere I was going, yes, ma'am. I mean, my face was on the news and stuff, so.
At any time, Medellin wanted to leave because she had left.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, she drove you up to Pennsylvania. Do you know where in Pennsylvania you went?
No, like I said, I was just listening to Lisa's instructions. She was just telling me to get a hotel somewhere and that they're going to pick me up from there. She didn't want her to know where Lisa and Nina stayed.
She didn't want you to know.
She didn't want Melanie to know.
Okay. Where Lisa and Nina stayed in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
She didn't want her to know where their house was.
Yes, ma'am. So she told me to get dropped off at a hotel, stay there, tell Melanie to go back home, and then they're going to pick me up from the hotel.
Okay. And did that happen?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you go after that?
They picked me up and took me to the house in Pennsylvania.
Did you all stay in Pennsylvania?
Just for a little bit.
And then where did y'all go?
Well, I stayed there a couple days by myself. They left. I don't know where they went. They flew somewhere or went somewhere. And then when they came back, they had this whole plan on let's go to Mexico.
Okay. Did you have a passport?
No, ma'am.
How'd you get a passport?
Nina.
Because Mexico doesn't
Lisa
have
said that
extradition.
Where'd y'all go to get a passport?
We drove to Buffalo.
And y'all stayed for a while in Buffalo?
Ma'am. Rented a couple hotels. I mean, they were taking me to sightsee and stuff and do all this.
How'd that make you feel going sightseeing?
I was pissed at them. I was so mad because I was like, I'm trying to figure out this. Once I got linked up with them, I'm trying to figure out how to clear my name from this because I'm literally kind of blackmailing Lisa now. Like, hey, you know what you did? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you sending me out here? She's like, just chill. We're gonna get all this cleared for you. We're gonna get all this cleared.
Now, you had a passport appointment, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have to go once or twice to the passport office?
Twice.
You went the first time, what happened?
Nina had already had all the paperwork filled out and stuff, so I just went there. I already had a picture taken and stuff, so I just had to sign some papers. And
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to sign some papers and stuff, and then there was a reason why I couldn't get it. I guess they had enough information, so they told me I had to get something and come back.
Now, let's switch back real quick to your first, Megan, the mother of your first child, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she put you on child support?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever pay child support?
No, ma'am.
Were you aware that you have a backlog of child support, that you can't get a passport? Did you know that?
No, ma'am.
Did you pay off your back child support?
No, ma'am.
Do you know who did?
Yes,
Who paid off your back child support?
no, ma'am.
Do you have any idea how much child support you owe?
Well, after the whole payment thing was going on, they told me
How much?
it was like 20 grand,
20 grand?
20, 30, like somewhere around there. But they said that they would lift it or something if they paid like half of it, or majority of it.
They would lift the passport.
To let me get a passport, yes, ma'am.
Now, were you able to get a passport?
Yeah. After they made the whole call to do all that, yes, ma'am.
And so at the second appointment, did that process go through?
I didn't go in because, like I said, they needed some additional information.
Yep, everybody involved are idiots.
She acted as
For the
her
love of all
cousin
that
or
is
something.
holy.
She ended up getting the passport.
Can I get sugar mamas? I mean, look, I don't swing that way, but I'd like a mom to pay my bills. Look,
Yeah,
I'd
but
be willing.
I mean, $20 is $20, and they bought him a
I know.
$50,000 car. They paid off his child support. I mean, how much more of a moron can you be? Oh,
No, Nick, I'm just saying I am willing to join the most boring and weirdest throuple ever if I can get all of my bills paid and, possibly a lot more Sailor Moon stuff. Look, I can be bought. I have a for-profit charity, my Cash App. But I mean, for the love of stop being so dumb, people. No, this man fathered a child and now he's got women to. No,
he has
stop.
two baby mamas.
For the love of all that is holy, I cannot.
So a 31-year-old failed rapper turned turned toy boy with middle-aged lesbian couple.
I
Um,
this I mean not even the Inquirer doing Bat Boy, Mary's Dragon Girl could make up a story this dumb, and yet it happened.
yeah.
They mentioned they wanted to go to Mexico, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Was this a vacation? Was this a stay? Did you know?
Well, I mean, to them, they were portraying to me like, hey, like just to clear your mind, so you won't think about stuff and watch your back this whole time while we're trying to figure how to clear your name from this. We're gonna go to Mexico, where of course, like I guess my face won't be over there in that country or state.
How'd you get to Mexico?
But we drove.
And do you remember when you went to Mexico?
Oh man,
Do you remember how long you stayed?
say about 3 weeks
About 3 weeks,
to a month.
to a month?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when they first took you down to Mexico, did they stay with you the whole time?
No, ma'am.
What did they do?
They left.
And did they drive or did they fly?
They flew. They said they had to take care of some stuff back in the States, which I didn't understand. They left and stayed there.
What car did you guys drive down?
The Maserati.
Maserati?
Yes, ma'am.
And then at some point, do you know what happened to the Audi?
No, ma'am.
At some point, did you get a new car?
Yes, ma'am.
What'd you get?
A Jeep Wrangler.
Okay. Did they bring that Jeep down to you in Mexico?
Yes, ma'am.
Chuck, I'm showing you, this has been marked States 300. This is the second page, States 300. Does that appear to be that same Jeep?
Now, if the lawyer and the legal assistant had any brains, they should have just left him there or snitched back.
Yeah.
So this is what makes him kind of credible, is the women did everything for him. That's the only bit, but every other piece of
Yeah.
evidence points at him.
It does speak to
What-
this kind of weird codependency because
Yeah.
let's say play the scenario out, he is the one that did it. What is their motivation for covering up for him? I mean, other than they're already in this pattern of
Losing their
doing.
job, losing their law license. I mean, they both have,
Yeah.
especially the lawyer has a lot to lose on this. But yeah,
Yeah. But it doesn't make sense that they would go to such lengths if he was the one that unalived a girl in their house. I mean, yeah, it's unconventional, but, just say, yeah, he's the one that did it. Now,
Yeah.
they made the choice to go ahead and help him put all the, bits and
Yeah.
pieces on the side of the
Yeah.
road. Then it just, none of this makes any sense. And
no.
if I tried to make this into a story for a movie, the suspension of disbelief, no one would buy it.
Yeah. Thank you for your super chat, Sebastian, for your 20 Danish krona. What did I just walk into? You just walked into the trial against lesbian couple and toy boy um, with Marisela Botello, a tourist in Dallas, Texas, from Seattle, and she met this guy. She went home with this guy, and then her remains was found 6 months later. Yeah,
It, it
and
just
here's the
really,
thing:
none of this makes sense.
had they charged all three of them for felony murder, manslaughter, whatever's, and desecrating body, they have the evidence for all of that. He, with his past, he would probably go in for the rest of his life, and the two chicks would be 5 to 20. But no, she'd want to have a murder conviction against Lisa Dykes because this guy squealed. And
Yeah,
so if she gets convicted, he probably walks completely.
yeah.
And how is that justice?
Well, do you think that they will be able to let him walk? Because I doubt that they'll be able to with. I think it would look really, really bad if they didn't get him on anything.
Well, I know, but I won't spoil it. But this is day 4. I think it's 7 trial days, and
Oh,
we
well,
will
crap.
continue watching this for a number of days.
Oh, well, good. Then we have.
Something to
I'm
do.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure he becomes much smarter as we go. He learns
Yeah.
like Harry Potter. It's just he becomes smarter. He grows. He gets
Sure. Well,
No.
something is growing on him all the time.
Ugh.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
And
fungus
then
is
at
among
some
us.
point, you all drove back and said you stayed down there about 3 weeks to a month.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe longer. I can't really remember. It was quite a bit of time.
And looking back at States 300, the first page, that's you, Charles Anthony Beltran, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you crossed back, you said you drove back from Mexico into the United States, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did y'all have one car or 2 cars?
2 cars.
What 2 cars did you have?
The Maserati and the Jeep.
Who rode what car?
Me and Lisa was in the Jeep, and Nina was in the Maserati.
Have you ever seen that document before?
No, ma'am.
So you crossed over from Mexico to the United States. Do you remember where, like what state you crossed over into?
No, ma'am.
Where did you guys go after you came back from Mexico?
Whichever side, because we stayed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so whatever side that side is, that's what side we left on.
Okay, that's the side you came in on is near Albuquerque.
Court audio is maxed.
Okay, and so after you came back across the
600%.
border, did you guys go to Albuquerque?
Yes, ma'am.
You stay there?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you stay there?
Just a night, just to rest, and then get back on the road.
And then where'd you go?
Their plan was to go to Miami.
Did you go with them?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you got to Miami, how long? Do you remember how long that took to get to Miami?
Some days. We would just stop, rent a hotel, and keep on going. We'll rent a hotel for the night.
I mean, so you guys were on the run.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yes, ma'am.
When you
Well,
got
to
Miami,
me, it was me on the run because my face was on the thing. So they were just comfortable with trying to go out to eat and all this stuff, and I wasn't.
and at that point, I mean, you still hadn't told anybody what happened.
I mean, I'm just with them now. Like I'm not talking to nobody. You know.
Were you relying on them to take care of you?
Well, in Mexico, there was
Is that a question?
Because after the whole thing with Marisela happened and she told me to leave, like the dynamic of our relationship just. So we knew that we were going to separate from each other, but I was staying with them because they kept on telling me that they were going to clear my name from this. They even contacted a lawyer, had me on speakerphone with them, telling me about that I'm good to move around. You know, like I have nothing to worry about.
Talking about your social media, this is kind of early on, going back. Did you get some instructions from Lisa about what to do with your social media?
Yeah, sure. That's why the phone call with the lawyer. I don't even know if it was a real lawyer. I don't know, but he was basically saying that, I'm good to do, keep on doing your social media things and all that stuff. So yeah, she would just tell me to keep posting, post like I'm just living life, like nothing's going on.
Like nothing's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you post old videos and things like that made it appear you were in Dallas?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, getting back to Mexico, we kind of skipped over to the part of Mexico. Were they there with you the whole time in Mexico?
No, ma'am.
How long do you think you were there by yourself?
I stayed there about a week by myself.
At some point, did you have somebody come visit you in Mexico?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was that?
Madeline.
Okay. And how long did you stay?
She stayed about a week. Yeah, about a week.
And why did she leave?
Well, the first time she left, because she left 2 times.
Okay.
So the first time she left, I knew that Lisa and Nina was coming back, and she always talked about her uncle living in Mexico, and she wanted to visit him. So when she came to see me, and when I knew Lisa and Nina was coming back, I told her, I was like, hey, like, why don't you go meet up with your uncle and stuff, and later on I'll come meet you at your uncle's house and stuff. I was just trying to get her away from them two.
Okay.
I didn't want them two to see her with me over there.
Okay.
So-
And something happened when she went to go visit her uncle with her car. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have to go pick her up?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea what town you were in when you had to pick her up?
It was a town like right next to the town where we were in San Carlos, and it was like literally like it's a highway that not even a highway, it's like a little freeway. You just hit the corner and you're in a whole other little area. Oh, I forgot what it's called though.
And so you picked her up from there,
Yes, ma'am.
and you took back to San Carlos with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Were Nina and Lisa on the way? Were they coming in?
Yes, ma'am.
And what'd you do about that issue?
About what? Like
About meddling and having meddling there with Lisa and Nina?
I'm just trying to figure out how to get Melanie out of there because that whole situation that happened with. So,
And how did you get her out of there?
well, Lisa be having these. She has these crazy dreams sometimes, and she be telling me about them. And one day we were talking.
Just say it's another.
Remember, hit the thumbs up.
Right now. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Like my stream.
Were you able to get meddling?
I'm double checking if I did that.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Nope, because I don't
Did Lisa
remember
see her?
stuff.
Did she know she was there?
Yes, ma'am.
Because remembering
And
stuff is
Did
hard.
meddling come and hang out with everybody, or did you keep her off?
Yeah, I kept in the room.
At some point, I mean, was she there very long at the same time with Nina and Lisa?
No, it was like literally like one night.
Okay. And how did you get meddling to wherever she needed to go?
I got her a little bus ticket, and I told her again I'll meet her. I'll meet her later on, and then dropped her off at the bus place. She ended up going to, I forgot where she was going, but she ended up leaving.
And she had family down there in Mexico. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I kind of backtracked a little bit, but you were telling the jury about traveling from Albuquerque to Miami. Where did you all stay when you got to Miami? Where did you all stay? I'm sorry, where did you all stay when you got to Miami?
They rented a hotel. It was like one of the like long stay hotels. We stayed there for a couple nights, and then it was like low budget, so they didn't want to stay there too long. So they ended up looking for an apartment, and then found an apartment, and we moved in there.
Okay, so when you moved into the apartment, did y'all have furniture?
Not
Or did
at
they have to go buy furniture?
They ended up leaving, and I guess they ended up getting the furniture from Pennsylvania and bringing it to.
The apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what happened to all the furniture that was in the Kensington house?
No, ma'am.
So they brought the furniture from Pennsylvania, moved into Miami. Do you recall the name of the apartment complex?
Yes, ma'am. It's called Parks at Kendall.
And how long did you stay there?
Mm, 3 weeks, a month.
3 weeks to a month? Okay. Were they there with you?
Well, at first, like there was no furniture in there, so they left. I said they left. They went to Pennsylvania, picked up all the furniture, and drove it back to Miami.
And after they drove that furniture back to Miami, were they there most of the time?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing during that time?
I mean, I never been to Miami, so I'll just kind of just take a drive and see everything.
Were you concerned about space being out there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now in Miami, you met somebody, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you meet?
Nicole.
And how'd you meet Nicole?
He met
I
another
was in a
chick?
grocery store.
Yeah.
And, we walked down the aisle and I seen her. She seen me and we started talking.
Chloroform, allegedly?
And what happened from there?
He
We
can't
exchanged numbers.
stay away from women if his life depended
That's
on
where
it.
I'm from.
What'd you tell him?
I told her Pennsylvania. I didn't want to tell her Texas because my whole face was on the news and stuff. So I told her Pennsylvania. And
What'd you tell her your name was?
Antonio.
Antonio?
Yeah, which is my name anyway in Spanish though.
Okay, your middle name?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you guys start kind of spending some time together?
Yeah, not right off the rip.
So you are now into your history of lying in every shape and form to get women to bed.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this situation correct. He is on the run for allegedly unaliving and distributing an unalived body on the side of the road with his lesbian throuple. They have put him up in a Motel 8 in Tampa or somewhere in Florida. And they have gone back to Pennsylvania or wherever they have gone back to with their Subaru. And he just cannot stop his pheromones long enough to go to the Walmart or the Piggly Wiggly and not find a chick. Nicholas, y'all, no, I,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. All right.
But it was like
There is
days
someone for
past.
everyone, and apparently
We'll get
all
each
the
other.
fish are for him.
you know.
There are many
You met
her at
fishes
the
in the
house?
sea for
Yes,
him.
ma'am.
And was Nina and Lisa there when you took her to the house?
No, not at the beginning. Like I said, they were gone. They left for that like week or so. So I had the apartment to myself.
You had mentioned before that the relationship between you and Lisa and Nina had changed quite a bit. Was there any, did you trust them?
No.
When you were in Miami, did you ever bring Nicole over to the apartment when Lisa and Nina were there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Had you done anything to kind of make yourself feel more secure in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
What'd you do?
I just made sure that I was up, stayed by the door. I actually put a whole table in front of the door so I could block it, just to be aware of what's going on around me.
Did you put any cameras up?
Yes, ma'am.
And
I had the ring, the little ring. I don't know what they're called. They're like small little like desktop little. You just sit them on anything.
at some point, did Nicole, back to cameras, how many cameras do you think you put up?
I put up two. I put up one, like leading towards to the door, and then because how the apartment was set up, when you walk into the door, there's a restroom to the left, like right when you come in, and that restroom leads to the bedroom right there, and then it's a hallway straight. So I got one camera coming this way, and then the other way to get to from the room to the living room is there's another door on the opposite side. So I put another camera from the refrigerator right here to that door.
And what would they do with the cameras?
When I leave, they'll like turn them down.
How'd that make you feel?
I mean, I was mad because I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to make sure, just keep watch on them. And when I confronted them about it, they were like, "Whoa, it feels like we're being watched, so we turn them down."
At some point, did Nicole know, did she learn your true name?
Yes, ma'am.
And when she learned that, what did she ask you?
She asked me nothing.
She didn't ask you anything about it?
No, ma'am.
At some point, did you leave Miami?
Yes, ma'am.
Why'd you leave Miami?
Just the trust of them. When they did the whole camera thing, I just didn't know what they were talking about, what was being said. So the reason I stuck around is because, like I said, they were already promised me to clear my name from this, and we were gonna part ways because they were going to sell this house. So money was involved too, which is selfish of me. But I wanted this money too. So
The plan was to sell the house in Pennsylvania, right?
yes, ma'am.
Dude, you've already
And,
gotten
at that
money,
point,
like
you
all the
were supposed to split his
monies.
money.
Yeah, they were going to go their way. I was going to go my way, and that was the plan.
What were you being told about the sale of the house in Pennsylvania?
They were just telling me that the amount that it could sell for, and the amount that I could get, and they just kept telling me to wait till the house sells. You know, like, we got you. Just keep calm, because, like I said, it's selfish of me that I was doing this, but I was using it as blackmail a little bit to get the money.
And did you ever get any of that money?
No, I didn't even know the house sold.
You left Miami. Where did you go?
I went to New Orleans, back to New Orleans.
Sunny
Back
day.
to New Orleans.
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
stay in New Orleans for a while?
Stayed there for a couple of days, and then it was just getting to be a lot, doing all this back and forth, running, ripping and running. So I had on my mind that I wanted to turn myself in, and I came to Dallas.
And who did you come see in Dallas?
A couple of my friends,
And who else did you see?
a couple girls that I used to deal with.
Okay. And did you stay with some of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Holy giblets, more
At some point,
girls?
did you go see Jasmine?
Yes, ma'am.
And Jasmine is the mother
Mother.
of your younger daughter, Charlie, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you and Jasmine, I guess, kind of tell the jury a little bit about your relationship with Jasmine.
It was love, because I didn't have my kid around, so when she had a son, and I know how it is, like, for a boy not to have his dad around, because I went through that. So her giving me the chance to even take care of her boy was like a lot to me. So I always had that love for her son, and them as a whole. So it was just that I just was living this crazy club lifestyle too. So it's just I wanted the family thing, but I was tied into both of these lifestyles. I couldn't just be that man for her.
And so, is Jasmine somebody you trusted?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to Jasmine?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did y'all talk about?
Well, we haven't talked since the whole club thing. When I walked away from her, we haven't talked since then, and I just didn't know how to get in contact with her.
And were you able to get in contact with her?
Yes, ma'am. I went to her apartment and knocked on her door. Of course, I was like, "Hey, what am I doing?" Because I was still kind of spooked from everything. So like, I just left. You know, I still didn't know how to get in contact with her. So I bought like a little like bear, little stuffed bear, and I just threw it in like her back patio, and like it hit her back glass, and I put my phone number on there, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, I really need some help. Like, hit me up." And so she hit me up.
Okay. And did you go to her house?
To her apartment.
To her apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you guys talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you stay there with her?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you stay there?
I stayed there a couple days.
What did you guys talk about?
She was just wondering what was going on with the whole thing, and like I said, I wasn't telling nobody anything. I was just like, man, like, I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm just trying to clear my name from this stuff, you know.
So you didn't tell her what really happened.
No, man.
Did you guys, did you talk about turning yourself in?
Yes, ma'am.
And why didn't you tell Jasmine what really happened?
I don't know. But
And you talked about turning yourself in, is that right?
yes, ma'am.
Did she encourage you to do that?
Well, I was just battling between the two, because I just didn't know what would inspire from the whole ordeal, you know, and I didn't want to be put in jail for something I didn't do. So it was just a thing torn between the turn myself in and not turn myself in. So it wasn't like encouragement. She was just like, man, like, whatever we need to do to figure out what's going on, then we'll do that.
And did you guys leave Dallas area and go to New Orleans?
Yes, because she was getting calls from like the detectives now, and she was just getting spooked, and I didn't want her to get tied into all that nonsense either. So I was like, man, I need to find somewhere to just figure this out, man. Like, can you please just help me get somewhere I can figure this out, and then, you know, we can go from there.
Is this the first time that you separated yourself from Lisa and Nina?
Well, I've separated, like, fully, or just,
Well,
I did plenty of times though.
I'm saying that you chose to leave them for an extended period and you weren't gonna go back.
Yeah, well, I did a couple of times, but I ended up coming back because, of course, I had a relationship with Nicole too. So that's what was drawing me back to Miami.
Okay.
But I would leave sometimes.
Y'all,
So this
I
time
need
you left,
Yeah, this time I left for good.
I need a bubble chart for all his women's because I am confused. He has Nicole, who was the one he loves, but he's kicking it with someone else, and he met someone in a grocery store.
I
But
can't
he's
keep
got
track.
children's and baby mamas, but it was really love with this one chick, but he's got this lifestyle. Someone help me. I am all the confusion. We need a whiteboard of smexy ho-ness.
We need a whiteboard of man whore.
Ghana
That
herpetosyphilitis board will be coming soon.
yes, the love of his life is Nick Hole.
Oh my God. He's like, yeah, it was real love, but I got this lifestyle going on and
Oh
I
yeah,
never get to see my kids.
you need a hoe shot.
I like the hoe chart flow chart. I'm
Yep.
stealing that from now on.
Oh,
And if he licks his lips one more time.
I
That
mean,
gross.
somebody give him a what do you call it, chopstick
Yeah,
thingy or anti-herpes medication. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And then I need all these women to come to the front of the class and explain to me what they see in this man because I need you to come to the front of the congregation and I need you to explain yourself because there needs to be some explainerating.
yeah.
Look, I have made some terrible choices when I was a young and stupid young little Mo, but I need some explainerating.
Yeah. You can joke about, oh, I'm the guy your mother warned you about. No, none of us are. This guy, that's the one. Smooth
Yeah,
talking, falling asleep while smexy.
but he's not
That
even
might be
smooth
why he can't
talking.
keep one woman because he's good at talking.
I mean, at least, at least, Ted Bundy was like, "Hey, my arm is broken. Can you help me with books?" I mean, he at least was, he thought about stuff. He planned. He had the car seat out of his bug. This guy's like, I was just in the grocery store and I saw this chick, and chicks fall for it. Stop.
But
Stop being dumb
could it be
chicks.
one of these things? If you ask 100 girls, at least one of them might volunteer.
He might be playing the numbers game. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue so we can get through this before he
He
finally
does have
finds
a
a woman to
resemblance of yeah, but I mean he's a failure as a rapper. He can't keep a woman. He has several baby mamas. He doesn't pay child support. I mean, either his dong is the size of an elephant, or he's a talker and he learns
or he
smooth
has
talking. But
really, really good devil's lettuce. He
yeah,
has a
that's true.
connection to the best Cheech and Chong supply ever, allegedly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't get it. I don't. I really don't.
and where did you end
Uh,
up?
I ended up in Utah.
That Jasmine has some family in Utah, brothers.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you stay with them?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall how long you were in Utah before you got arrested?
Say like 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days?
Mhm.
Sometime during in late March, do you recall having a text message conversation with Lisa?
Yes, ma'am.
And Lisa would call you lover, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you call her?
I call her lover too, or babe, or
Did you refer to her as mom sometimes?
yeah, we call her Mama Bear.
Mama Bear?
Yes, ma'am. Mom.
Based on that conversation, what did Lisa tell you?
She told me that Nina got picked up. Yeah, I hope she don't say anything about anything.
What else you say?
She wanted me to come meet her up. She wanted me to come pick her up, and she was just asking me like, "Hey, can you come get me? Can you come get me?"
And, I mean, how did you respond?
Like I said, at this point, it was just I didn't want to be around them. I didn't trust them. I said it's selfish of me, but I just wanted this money. I really did, and that's why I was asking. I was like, "Hey, like, you have your money, you know, like what's going on with this whole money thing?" You know.
So you asked for some money. Did you kind of lead her to believe you might meet up with her if you could?
Yes.
And you're in Utah. You said 4 or 5 days in this apartment. Did you talk to any of the people in the apartment about what you were running from?
No, they asked, but it was just like, man, I need to figure some stuff out, man. Like, said it's difficult to talk about, and I mean, everybody that I was talking to about this stuff, like, I couldn't talk about it, but they know I was in some trouble because I was like, I can't talk to you about it, but I just need some help, you know.
Okay.
And they were all willing to.
A lot of people willing to help.
Yeah, they were willing to help me.
When you get arrested, did you meet with a detective, female detective from Dallas?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember her name?
No.
And was there a male detective in there too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then when you got arrested, was it the same day that you got arrested that you talked to them, or were you in jail?
I think I was in there for a day. Then they came. I think they flew in the next day.
Did you agree to talk to them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you talked to them for a long time, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you have any idea, first of all, did you know whether or not Marisela's remains have been found?
No, ma'am.
And other than knowing you were the last person to be seen with her, did you have any other information about the case going on in Dallas
No, ma'am.
at that time?
No, ma'am.
You spent probably 2 hours talking to them, maybe a little over 2 hours, 2.5 hours talking to them. Does that sound about right?
Yes, ma'am.
You agreed to waive your rights and speak to him, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When you first talked to him, you didn't tell him the truth, did you?
No, ma'am.
What did you tell him?
He's saying don't leave.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you tell him the truth?
No, ma'am.
What did you tell him?
I was so mad about the whole situation because they kept on. As soon as I got detained, like everything was hitting me at once. I'm like, I felt like they were just keeping me close, so I wouldn't say anything.
You said.
Lisa and Nina. So once I got detained, like I wanted to speak the truth, but I wanted to refrain me from being in the area of witnessing what I witnessed. Because I know I could probably get charged, still being in my selfish ways, thinking about myself, was trying to defend myself being in there. So I told him what I told him.
This man is
Well,
not
and
smart
you didn't
enough
watch the
to
video
craft a
recently, right?
story
Yes,
in which he is not.
And did you tell
the
them
prime
in
suspect.
that first, probably 45 minutes of the video, did you tell them that you even knew what happened to Marisela?
No, ma'am.
Would you tell them that you thought happened?
I told him that I woke up. Lisa was coming in here with this knife. Pushed him out the way. Nina was trying to bum rush in too. Pushed her out the way, and I left.
Did you tell the detective anything about what happened after that? Where you went or anything?
No, I just told him that I left and went to Dax's house.
At some point, do you recall the male detective talking to you about the charge that you were arrested with?
Yes, ma'am.
And he talked about the capital murder. Did he explain that to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did he tell you?
That I could be looking at death penalty, life sentence. Like, here's your opportunity to tell us what's going on.
And you said that you watched your video. Based on that, did you right then start telling the truth?
Somewhat. Like I said, I was still being in my selfish ways of trying to clear my name from the whole being there and witnessing that. So I didn't tell him like that I was there. I was trying to tell him the truth about what was going on, but me not being in prison of what happened, so I wouldn't get in trouble.
At some point, do you recall Detective Ramirez talking about your daughters in relation to Marisela? And
Yes,
what you would want someone to do if that was your daughter? Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
How did that affect you? Did that have an effect on you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what effect did that have?
I was just thinking about him. Like, I can't spend the rest of my life in here, you know? Like,
Oh, you will fuck it up in one way or another.
You decided
I,
some
I'm
point
I'm
after
so
that,
glad
so-
that your first thought was of yourself.
Yeah.
Save yourself. Women and children last. Get off the Titanic. Oh my God. Can we just throw him into Snake Island already? He'd be much
here's the
better
thi-
used to humanity as fertilizer,
Mm,
allegedly.
He's been on the stand now for roughly 2.5 hours, and all I get from it is he lies. He lies all the time about everything. That's what I'm getting out of this. And he conquers a lot of women for some odd
All I have
reason.
gotten out of this is that he has procreated, and his
Yeah.
he has spread his genetics at least halfway a couple times, but other than that, he has not given anything to humanity other than conversion of oxygen into carbon dioxide.
Oh, the court. I mean, I have this boost, and I have this boost all the way up. So I can't. This is as good as the court volume gets. I can't do anything more. Yeah, yeah. Let's just continue.
like I said, I'm trying to tell the truth in there.
No, you
And I'm
didn't.
trying to make sure that I'm not being
Trying
charged,
means you are not
succeeding
succeeding, you
things
are
that I didn't do.
attempting, so you are
I'm
not
trying to
telling the
refrain from
truth.
being in the present of that whole situation. So I'm telling the truth, but I'm taking myself out of like being there, witnessing what I've seen. So I want to
That's
get charged.
called lying.
At some point, I think you recall the detectives left,
Yes, ma'am.
and did you ask for them to come back?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point, did you tell them what you witnessed Lisa do?
Yes, ma'am.
In that discussion, are they really pushing you hard? Do you remember Detective Ramirez's kind of demeanor?
Yeah, there were.
I mean, was she super aggressive?
She
Beating on
started.
the table, yelling at you, things like that?
Nah, not like that. But she was trying to get some information out of me. She wanted to know.
Did you feel coerced in any way?
No,
You know
ma'am.
what coerced means? I'm sorry. Did you feel forced to tell anything?
No, ma'am.
And if you could mark your spot, it is now 12:33, so I'll put that runs a little fast, but it's time for lunch. We will go ahead and take our lunch break, ladies and gentlemen, the jury break.
Okay, that's lunch break. Let's skip ahead. They are back.
Give us a time. When you left off, you had been arrested.
And we're back.
And talked to the detective in this case in Utah, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Have you been in jail since then?
Yes,
Since
ma'am.
Utah?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to backtrack just real quickly. We had mentioned this before, and I'm showing you Mr. Beltran with the Mark States Exhibit 335. You flip through that. You recognize what that is?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I think we are both set on automatic. Just
Yeah,
volume.
I haven't.
And I
reduce
think I am
background
at least.
noise.
Audio, automatic.
Yeah. Well, we were coming in really loud, and then
Yeah.
You
Court
know,
is actually court is set as more. It's set as plus 25% on one booster and 600% on another booster. So we are technically around 750% boost on court volume. That's how bad it is.
yeah, our courts are bastions of technical audio prowess.
Mm. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you went and got a passport. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you fill out a passport application?
No, ma'am.
You did not.
Not there. Well, I did there. I had to fill something out there, but before I got there, like I already had papers filled out to give them.
Okay, so you've never seen your actual passport application paperwork.
No, ma'am.
Now, you said you've been in jail since being arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to also go back to, we mentioned you posting on social media. You were still posting on Instagram shortly after the report of Marisela going missing. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You took a break for a little while. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
In hindsight, can you recall some of the things that you posted?
Like I was told just to keep away from the areas I was staying in, so I was just posting old videos of me being like Dallas, Houston, Seattle.
Do you remember posting some type of post concerning you didn't know anything about Marisela, people talking about you, they don't know you, things like that?
On the lines of that, yes, ma'am.
And do you remember posting an Instagram post that said "Buck 1-2" or "Buck Club"?
That's what I recall.
Okay. And do you recall? You said you're told, being encouraged to continue posting things and recording music. You remember releasing a song during that time period?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that song called?
POI,
What did that stand for?
person of interest.
And what were the lyrics of that song?
I don't remember the whole song.
What was it about?
It was about basically saying that what they're
He
trying to.
doesn't remember his own GD
that's not me.
song.
In retrospect and knowing everything that we know now, what do you think about your decision to do that?
It's dumb, stupid.
How do you think the family felt about that?
I can't even imagine.
Now, music is your thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your rap name?
50-50 Chuck.
50-50 Chuck. What does that stand for?
The 50-50 part?
Yeah.
It was a growing up, they used to always call me a mutt because I was mixed with black and Mexican. So they used to call me 50-50 because I'm half black, half Mexican.
As far as some of your lyrics of your songs, what were they about?
Nicholas, is he doing Morse code, blinking? Are we supposed to be figuring out what he's saying? Like I'm lying, or is he trying to get me to? Is he telling me to drink more Ovaltine? I just need to know.
I'm trying to play with the thought if I've ever met anybody who was more of a waste of life than this guy. And I'm struggling.
He does not have resting douche face. Like, there are some people that just, unfortunately, they can be the nicest people ever. They just have resting douche face. He is just, he's a lump.
And thank you, Rabbit, for being a member for 3 months. Hope you had a great Christmas. I had a great Christmas. I was doing Santa duty. Me and a neighbor, we switched families to Santa for. which confused the kids a lot because we both went out to buy the paper and kids said, you're coming back soon, but no, we didn't. So it was fun. Oh, and thank you, Rabbit, for gifting 5 memberships to Sunny Day, Yamaha Biker, Edward Scotts, TG, and Sean Bird. Welcome to becoming a member. And you now have access to members-only content that I've heard is voluminous. I apparently produce the most members-only content on LawTube. So,
Yes, and
yay!
I endeavor to get on his level this next year. I'm actually working on a schedule and everything. I am going to be on, okay, allegedly. In theory, possibly. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If everything goes to plan, and that happens once every blue moon.
Yeah. Oh, and you also have the link to my Discord is in the members section of my channel. And if you don't have the same name on YouTube's as on Discord, inform the moderators what your YouTube name is, so you can get access to all of it. All right. Thank you so much, Rabbit. I appreciate it so much. And for you who don't know, the memberships is what keeps my channel running. The memberships and the occasional super chat. So far, everything goes back into the channel in the form of new equipment and better StreamYard Plus and all of those things. And separate internet for my YouTubes or for my streamings and stuff like that. So thank you so much. Let's continue with this way. Edward Scott said, don't call this guy a waste of life. He brought much pressure to many women he's come across. I'm not entirely sure of that.
You know, in his mind, he is a wonderful lover, I am sure. And many great works of fiction were also written by Walt Whitman. So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, what signifies a good lover is that you keep one woman around. You're able to do that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And me and Miss Viking, 8 years and counting. So I apparently do something good.
Me and Mr. Mo, 12, almost 13 years and counting. So, to be fair, I mean, I have all the wigs and all the personalities, so he really doesn't get the same person every day. and you know, he stopped asking questions. He's like, "How many wigs? When what? Who are we doing?"
Does he get visit from church lady?
No, but he was like, why, what the mullet? What are we doing here? And then he did have to pull the credit card away because he was like, look, no, 35% cash back does not mean it's free. Girl math doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But then he was like, tax deduction, okay, but that doesn't mean you can buy all the wigs. And I was like, no, it does mean I can buy all the. He's like, no. Yeah. So,
yeah. Everybody go over
budget.
to Mo's YouTube channel and subscribe to her.
Subsidize my wig addiction, really. It's sad and terrible.
Yeah. So because she's monetized, so she can start earning monies from monetization and buy more wigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I only have 873 personalities.
Oh, do we have to? Yeah, I guess we have to keep listening to this guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Fedoretsky. Oh, for fuck's sake. I had it paused. Seriously.
Well, do you want to take a moment to grift
there
if
he
he's
is.
buffering?
I mean, the ones I release
There
are
you
just
go.
in general, like me just
Just
making
like
music. Period.
you released.
I remember.
Let me ask you specifically, what is Picture Me This about?
Picture Me This is just it's just a statement of like, I never used to be this guy before, and it's like, now picture me this, like picture me living this lifestyle that I'm living now. Like, did you ever picture this?
Okay. That's the gist of the song, but there are some pretty derogatory sexual lyrics in there. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that and not to excuse that, is that part of just kind of that rap lifestyle?
Yes, ma'am.
You released a song called SOS. What did that stand for?
Straight on sight.
Straight on sight. What does that mean?
It was really towards the people I used to rap with. It was just it's hip hop, just the track that we were just going back and forth on. I'm letting them know that, I see y'all looking at me, like, but we just kind of fell apart from the group. When I was incarcerated, they took my brand and made money with my t-shirts, my logos and stuff. So I was still kind of mad about all that stuff.
And straight on sight really kind of indicates if you see him, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Knowing you and what you testified to before, if you were to get in that kind of conflict, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what?
Like a conflict where you fight. Like if somebody approaches you to fight, or tries to pick a fight with you, what are you gonna do?
I'm not a fighter at all, not an aggressor or nothing like that. It's just like I said, it's a rap battle.
He's not a fighter, and he has convictions of armed robbery and violence towards women. But it's not a fight. Yeah, maybe not against another man, but definitely against women.
Well, to be fair, it looks like he has pineapples from a pineapple upside down cake as a tattoo on his neck. But yeah, no, he is definitely a beta male that would only fight with a woman, a lady. And why is she? Are we going to really open the can of worms about how rap addresses women's rights? Is that what we're going into, ma'am? Someone open
they
that
have
door.
they kind of have to, because if they don't, the defense will, and I would assume that the defense will go in very thoroughly.
Oh, well, I mean, the defense is going to kick open all the doors. Like, I was in love with this chick. He's opened all the doors about all the chicks that he's opened all the doors with.
Yeah.
So,
just lyrics. It's not.
but this is painful. I mean, how many hours have we taken to figure out the story? Oh my gosh.
We've met several times. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Probably 5 times in the last 6 months or so.
Yes, ma'am. Safe to say.
And every time we've met, what have I told you that I wanted from you?
The truth.
Did we ever have a different place?
The one thing he can't give you.
No, ma'am.
It's like meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, ma'am.
Actually.
And when you say denying it, I mean, what are you talking about? What specifically? Because you and I have talked several times, and
I'm saying prior to that though, because I had 2 attorneys before this, and they reached out to me that she wanted to talk, and at that time I was still being selfish, not trying to tell the truth, not thinking about the family that lost their daughter. So with time though, as I got close to talking to my little girl, it just made me think about them a lot. And that's why I reached out to Mara. I was like, man, if you could reach out to you, I would love to bring out the truth.
You don't give a rat's ass about your kids. You're a fucking
You
liar.
know you're going to prison for your role in this. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know that it could be possibly up to 20 years.
Yes, ma'am.
You accept your involvement and responsibility?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you talk about your daughters quite a bit. You talk about some of your motivations for coming forward and testifying. And like I said, you don't know what that means in the long run, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been the best father as far as showing up, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you aware that Marisela's father's here in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
You know he's the kind of father that was there every day. Every day for his daughter. You know that, right?
do not even attempt to cry. I will jump up out of my seat.
Now, you may not have been able to stop the murder of Marisela Botello, but you could stop this, right?
What a
You
bunch
understand
of
that?
bullshit.
What do you want to tell that man back there?
Oh, objection!
Oh, objection.
Objection! Don't you dare talk to the victim's father. You
Yeah, what the
absolute
hell
cunt.
is this?
That's what you're.
What in the hell is this bullshit feelings crap? I mean, no offense, and I feel bad for the father, and but what in the actual hell are we doing? This is feelings time. This
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
facts time. Isn't this
Yeah.
for the victim's impact statement? I mean, as a non-lawyer, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, and now this was the direct examination of this witness. Now it's cross-examination. I don't believe a single word of his story. Not a sentence, not a syllable, not a single word on how he described how the ending of Marisela Botello happened. Not a single
No,
word. And there's not one piece of solid evidence that supports him. Not one.
no, but so I'm of two minds of why the prosecutor did this. A, to make him look like he has feelings, which is impossible because he's dumb and he doesn't have any beyond surface shallow feelings. Or B, to make the jury feel bad about something.
Yeah.
And both of them are inappropriate and not supposed to be in this part of the trial, is what I thought. Now, again, as a non-legal lawyer, what the hell is this chick doing? I mean, for the love of all that is Lemmy from...
They could have gotten all three of them on more or less everything because she ended up dead in their home. Somehow, somewhere, somehow.
Yeah,
In
desecration
my
of a
in my opinion,
corpse.
he probably did it. Is it beyond a reasonable doubt? Probably not, because the lazy cops and investigators in this case took I mean, she disappeared the night between October 4th and 5th. Not until October 31st did they search the house. She wasn't
I hate
found
everyone.
until 6 months later. And they still had all the phone data and cell phone towers and everything, so they could have followed every trace of, okay, let's look over here, let's look over here. None of them did jack shit to find Marisela Botello. And that's why this is a weak case.
Yeah, well, that's... There are so many things I want to say and rant about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that was incredibly to me, and again, like I say, I am no lawyer. I am barely a scholar, but the the blatant use of kind of emotional ploys and the fact that dad is there and he's having to sit through this human piece of garbage talking and wasting 19 hours being the slowest human being ever to answer a question. And then it just
Yeah.
bothers me that the prosecutor went there so very much because it cheapens the fact that the dad was there
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. It's incredibly I'm so disappointed in this prosecutor. I'm so disappointed. Now, it's 8:35 p.m. here. I have an early morning tomorrow. But we will continue with the cross-examination with this fart face tomorrow around 9:30 a.m. and we will watch through the rest of the day tomorrow. But I'm getting tired because I've been up since 4:30 this morning, and
Understandable.
Yeah. I will be sending you over to Dave at Making Law Simple. He is having an update on the Turtle Boy. There seems to be a bit of interesting developments and now a bit of a different. Yeah, it's weird, but he is covering it, so I will be sending you over there. Thank you, Mo, for showing up. I always
You are
appreciate
welcome.
it, and thank you for the gifted memberships, and thank you for the super chat, and thank you all for being here. Remember, hit the thumbs up on your way out, and yeah, see you all and bring friends tomorrow. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.